Imagine waking up one day to a world where the US dollar is no longer the backbone of global trade. A world where the financial empire built on the greenback begins to weaken, not because of war or politics, but because of technology. Technology is so disruptive and so free from centralized control that it could rewrite the rules of the global financial system. This is not fiction or conspiracy. It is what BRICS is working on right now, and their tool of choice is blockchain. For years, the BRICS alliance has quietly laid the groundwork for financial independence, and now their mission has entered a new phase. A phase where transactions are seamless, sanctions lose their grip, and trade happens on a system that the United States cannot control. It all starts with a single decision, one that could change the balance of power forever. But why now? What triggered this bold step toward a new financial order? Let's explore. For decades, the US dollar has not just been a currency, it has been a weapon, a tool of dominance, influence, and control. As the world's reserve currency, the backbone of international trade, it is the primary means by which nations settle their debts. But for BRICS, the dollar has become a chain, and they are now determined to break free. The alliance has always understood the risks of relying on a currency controlled by a foreign power. The United States holds a unique advantage. It can print money without consequence, impose sanctions at will, and dictate financial rules that the rest of the world must follow. And every time a country defies Washington, it faces the same punishment: economic restrictions that can cripple entire industries overnight. This is not speculation. It has happened time and time again. Russia was cut off from SWIFT, the globally messaging system that facilitates financial transactions. Iran was blocked from the dollar-based trade network, making it nearly impossible to conduct business on the international stage. Even China, despite its economic might, has felt the heat from US financial pressure. But now, BRICS is saying enough. The return of Donald Trump has only accelerated the urgency of their mission. His threats of 150% tariffs against the bloc were not just about trade. They were a direct warning to any country trying to challenge the dominance of the US financial system. His stance is clear. The US dollar must remain king, and any attempt to dethrone it will be met with retaliation. But the reality is that cracks are already forming. Dollarization is not just an idea. It is a movement, and BRICS is at the forefront. They have already begun conducting trade in their own currencies. Russia and China have developed new financial rails to bypass Western-controlled systems. India is strengthening its rupee-based trade networks. Brazil and South Africa are exploring new settlement mechanisms that don't rely on US financial institutions. Yet the missing piece has always been a unified, seamless system that could replace the dollar across all BRICS nations. Something powerful enough to facilitate billions in trade without relying on the American-controlled banking system. Now, for the first time, they may have found it. Blockchain, a decentralized, unbreakable, and borderless system that no government can manipulate. A system that eliminates intermediaries, reduces costs, and enables instant transactions across continents. With the 2025 BRICS Summit approaching, the alliance is preparing to unveil a proposal that could be the first step toward making this system a reality. But how exactly does BRICS plan to integrate blockchain into its financial architecture? For those unfamiliar, blockchain isn't just about cryptocurrencies. It's about infrastructure. It is a system that allows secure, tamper-proof transactions without a central authority. Instead of relying on the Western-controlled banking system, BRICS could build a decentralized financial network where every transaction is recorded transparently and immutably, making it impossible to manipulate. This isn't just theory. The world has already seen hints of what's possible. China, for instance, has made significant advancements with its digital yuan, which is backed by blockchain technology. Russia has explored blockchain-powered trade, settlement mechanisms to bypass SWIFT. Even India has taken steps toward digitizing financial transactions through blockchain-based systems. But what BRICS is proposing now is something far bigger, a single blockchain-based payment system. A system that connects all member nations, enabling them to conduct trade entirely outside the reach of Western financial institutions. Here's a reminder to like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel to watch more content on Africa's geopolitics, economy, and its changing landscape. Let's continue now. At the heart of this proposal is Brazil, which currently holds the BRICS chairmanship. The country has outlined an initiative focusing on three main areas. Firstly, cross-border transactions without intermediaries. Currently, even if BRICS nations trade in local currencies, they still depend on financial intermediaries tied to Western systems. A blockchain-based payment system would eliminate this dependency. Transactions would occur directly between businesses and governments, reducing costs and increasing efficiency. Secondly, local currency settlement at scale. The biggest obstacle to moving away from the dollar has always been the lack of a unified system for handling payments in multiple currencies. Blockchain solves this by creating a decentralized ledger that facilitates instant currency swaps between BRICS nations. This would allow a Chinese company to pay a Russian supplier in yuan, while the supplier receives rubles, all in real time, without involving the dollar. Lastly, security and sanction proofing. BRICS nations have learned a hard lesson. If the US wants to block you from the global economy, it can. However, a blockchain system is beyond the control of any single government by design. It is censorship resistant, meaning transactions cannot be frozen, reversed, or controlled by external forces. For Washington, this is a real threat. If BRICS successfully launches this system, it could inspire other nations, particularly those frustrated with US financial dominance, to join in. Countries like Iran, Argentina, and even Middle Eastern oil producers could eventually connect to this decentralized network, further eroding the dollar's global influence. However, a financial revolution of this scale does not happen without resistance. The United States is watching closely, and Donald Trump has already made it clear that he is willing to fight to preserve the dollar's supremacy. The question is, can he stop BRICS from achieving this, and how can BRICS sustain it? Trust is the foundation of any financial system. Without it, economies collapse, transactions stop, and currencies lose their value overnight. For BRICS, breaking free from the US dollar is not just about creating an alternative. It's about ensuring that their new system is more secure, efficient, and resilient than the one they are leaving behind. This is where blockchain comes in. One of the most groundbreaking features of this system is the use of smart contracts, self-executing agreements that trigger automatically when predetermined conditions are met. In practical terms, this means that if a South African company purchases goods from Brazil, the payment is automatically released upon confirmed delivery without needing bank approval or delays caused by bureaucracy. Everything is coded into the system, removing the possibility of corruption or manipulation. Another key element is fraud prevention. The BRICS blockchain system is completely transparent, meaning every transaction is permanently recorded and cannot be altered. Unlike traditional banking, where financial misconduct can be hidden, blockchain ensures everything is exposed. This guarantees that no party can alter financial records, forge transactions, or exploit loopholes, making it one of the most secure financial systems ever designed. But even with these technological advantages, one major challenge remains: currency stability. The global financial system is volatile, and exchange rates between BRICS nations fluctuate constantly. To solve this, BRICS is implementing real-time exchange rate adjustments, allowing currencies to be settled at their most accurate value at the moment of the transaction. This prevents the kind of artificial currency manipulation that the US has used for decades to protect the dollar's dominance. With this system in place, BRICS is building something far bigger than an alternative to SWIFT. They are creating a parallel financial infrastructure that the United States cannot control. But this raises a critical question. How will Washington respond to this new financial order? More importantly, do they even have the power to stop it? This has left Washington with few options, and the desperation is starting to show. One strategy that may emerge is exerting pressure.